Hello and welcome to the Bronco Exchange. I'm your host, Dr. Shanessa Fenner, along with my co-host, JaShawn Steward-Johnson, and our special guest, Dr. Jon Young,
Hi.
who is the Provost and Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs at Fayetteville State University. Welcome, Dr. Young.
Thank you.
All right. Now, Dr. Young, how have past budget cuts affected academic affairs, and if more cuts are coming, what is the plan?
Well, first of all, let me answer the last part first and say we're not looking for any significant budget cuts over the next several years. We can never be sure, but we don't anticipate any for the next couple of years. I think the main thing that budget cuts have done over the last several years is to force us to rethink everything that we were doing. And we use the phrase a lot, doing more with less, and there's a limit to how much more you can do with less funds, but I think we did learn a lot about that over the last 7 or 8 years. One of the things we did a lot of combining of offices. For example, at one point we had an office of summer school and an office of continuing education. Well, we combined those into one office. We merged a number of academic departments. And so we did a lot of merging of offices where we felt like we could, they were performing similar functions, and so we could bring those together. We have relied a lot less on part-time adjunct faculty. Now, some institutions went the exact other way. They saved money by having part-time instructors. We decided we did not want to go down that route. Instead, we've invested most of our funding in permanent or long-term faculty, and so we've had less reliance on part-time faculty. And so what that means is that students usually are taught by faculty who have a longer-term commitment to the university than just somebody who's teaching for one semester at a time. So those are some of the results of the budget. I think that we became very, very budget conscious, and I think that because of that, we're much better prepared, one, to use our funding more effectively now and efficiently, but also if we do have to face further cuts in the future, then I think we'll be prepared for them.
Now, I've been hearing a lot about, especially in the news, about them wanting to decrease the tuition costs at Fayetteville State University. What is your view on that?
The Board of Governors of the UNC system have spoken a lot about the cost of education in North Carolina and the concern about reducing tuition at a number of universities. But the reality is, if you compare the cost of higher ed in North Carolina at the UNC institutions, and certainly including Fayetteville State University, we are very, very affordable. We have, Fayetteville State we have 16 official peer institutions from across the country. Those were selected by us in consultation with the UNC system. Our tuition out of 16 is the lowest of our 16 peers across the country. So compared to other states, our tuition and fees are really, really quite reasonable. FSU has had a long commitment to affordability. I mean, we serve students a lot of whom do not have a lot of resources, so we've always tried to take that into account. Given our commitment to affordability, if the system were to try to cut us more, I fear it would really have a negative impact on our ability to serve students.
So you're saying that Fayetteville State is the lowest, so why do they continue to want to decrease it then? What's their reason and the rationale behind that?
Well, I don't think that when the Board of Governors are looking at, I don't think they're necessarily looking at Fayetteville State in particular. I think they're looking at the system as a whole, and there are schools in the UNC system that are a lot more expensive than we are. So I think it's more, the target is more some of the higher cost institutions. But again, we are very affordable compared to other schools in the state, as well as our peer institutions throughout the country.
Within academic affairs, do y'all have like any exciting initiatives that y'all have planned, and how would those initiatives, or what is your goal when you set up those initiatives, and how would that affect like the retention rates and the graduation rates?
I think what I would have to say is our most exciting initiative, and it in fact encompasses a variety of educational experiences, but we're really focusing a lot on hands-on, engaged learning. So just this past summer, our students surpassed the 100,000 hours of service learning hours, where students work in a community organization and they apply the classroom learning to that specific, to the specific organization. Right here we're in a television studio that gives students hands-on experience in terms of preparing for their careers. We have faculty and students doing research projects. We have some students that have actually helped develop inventions that we are in the process of getting patents for. So that sort of hands-on experiential learning is a very high priority for us, and I think it's very exciting because I think that's when students learn the most, when they're engaged in hands-on applied experiences. But we're doing that in an effort to really make sure all of our students, when they graduate, are really prepared to move to the next level of either going into the workforce. Most students will go directly, and so we want to make sure they're prepared with the communication skills and writing skills and thinking skills and the ability to work with numbers, but have that hands-on experience in real settings. Or if students want to go to graduate school, and we have a number of students who do, we want to make sure they have the kind of research experiences they need that will help them be successful as graduate students. So I think our attention to and our very strategic effort to prepare students for careers and for future study, those are really, really quite exciting. We have two major initiatives, funded initiatives. I mean, the United Negro College Fund, with funding from the Lilly Foundation, is providing funding to help us improve student career preparation. We have another big grant with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which is helping us support student success and helping more students become successful. So those things together, I think, are really making a profound difference for FSU and will continue to have a profound positive impact on the university.
Now this next question, of course, it says, some say that not everyone is suited for college or capable of succeeding, but what would you say to those people? Now as a principal, every morning on my morning announcements, I let my students know that they're first and foremost expected to graduate from high school, and then I'm expecting them to attend a 4-year college or university, and at the very least, I'm expecting for them to, of course, obtain that bachelor's degree. So what do you have to say about when some people say that everyone is not suited for college?
Well, my concern is that oftentimes those people that say that have themselves been to college and are sending their own children to college. And so I think, well, if college was good for you, the person saying it, and if it's good for your own children, then why not for everybody? And so I'm always concerned about the sense that some people are not suited. I mean, I think there will be some individuals on their own who quite, for good reason may say, look, college is not for me, but that's their choice.
Exactly.
It's not for others to make that choice for them. And, one of the things I'm most convinced of that sort of guides everything I do is I'm just so aware of the profound transformative impact of a college education.
Exactly.
In terms of what it means for the individual, in terms of his or her quality of life, but also in terms of his or her ability to give back to their communities, to their families. And I don't want to rob anybody of that opportunity for that kind of transformative experience. And so when some people say this person's not suited, that's what they're trying to do, is rob them of that opportunity. Now, if young people say, hey, I don't want to, I mean, certainly that's a reasonable choice, and they may find other pathways. but I don't want to tell them they're not suited.
Exactly,
for it.
and
Yeah.
I'm not either, Dr.
Yeah.
Young, and I talk about it every day.
Yeah.
I'm an advocate of lifelong learning.
Absolutely.
You're supposed to go to school, you're supposed to graduate from college, and you're supposed to do great things.
And really, when college education does what it's supposed to do, in fact, it is just launching one into lifelong learning. I mean, you know, I hate to admit this, but when I graduated from college, I never knew I would spend virtually every hour of the day on a computer. Mm-hmm. But I would not have probably been able to learn how to use a computer and effectively if I'd not had a college education that sort of helped me get to that point.
Exactly.
How important is it to you for, you know, you were saying, you know, the hours of service learning?
Yes.
So how do you track a balance of, okay, you're in the classroom and you're learning, and then also, you know, getting these hours outside? Like, how do you balance that to make sure, you know, okay, I'm getting the book work and then I'm also getting the real world experiences, and how much value do you place on each?
Well, I really think that, quote, sort of classroom learning, learning in the classroom, you know, textbook learning, those are important to the extent that they prepare us to do things out in the world, you know, whether as a citizen or whether in a particular organization or a particular profession. And so I think that it's important that we have classroom experiences to get foundational knowledge and, you know, learn a discipline, but it's equally important to apply it in a particular setting. And there was a time when if an individual had a college degree, a company might, just if you had a college degree, they'd hire you and they would train you to do what they wanted you to do. Those days are gone. I mean, companies, professions, organizations, they're going to find the people who can sort of come right in and start making a difference. And so I think that's why this applied learning, internships, service learning, those are just so critical to higher education success.
Now, do you feel that we do enough to prepare students for careers in professional graduation schools?
I think that at FSU we do a really fine job. And again, like I say, we're right now in a television studio that gives students hands-on learning. But I'd be the first to admit that we can do a better job. And I think doing a better job means providing more internships, more service learning opportunities, more research. Another side of this is global experiences, and so enabling students to learn more about the whole world and interacting with people from throughout the world. I think all of those are really critical, and we've been focusing on all of those at FSU to help make sure our students are better prepared. So again, I think we do a really wonderful job, but at the same time, we're not satisfied with where we are. We want to continue to get better.
Okay. You mentioned earlier about, you know, students finding a job or starting their career as soon as they graduate, but we know that's not always the case. What's your advice to, you know, someone who just graduated and they're maybe not in their career as soon as they would have liked to have been?
Well, I would say the important thing to do is to continue to learn. I mean, what I hope we're doing, what we're trying to do here is to make sure students are thinking about those kinds of issues before they graduate. And so that as they're juniors and seniors, they're exploring the various options that are available for their particular major. We just had a career and graduate school day just earlier this week in which students had an opportunity to meet with employers. But I would say just continue to explore the options. I think it's important to look at the kind of skill sets that organizations and companies are looking for, not just about the name of a job and not necessarily even the name of the organization, but what kind of skill sets are they looking for, and then trying to hone those. I mean, I would just say continue to learn, continue to take opportunities for learning. I mean, there's any number of online courses out there that are free of charge that one can go and on their own, you know, enhance their skills and knowledge to enhance their employability.
Well, Dr. Young, thank you once again for being a guest on the Bronco Exchange.
Well, thank
I wish
you.
you much success, and thanks so much, JaShawn.
Thank you.
And thank you, viewing audience, for tuning in to the Bronco Exchange. I'm your host, Dr. Shanessa Fenner. Have a good one.
Hypnotized, familiar stranger, wait, hold up, don't run, I don't buy